Erev Tov, everyone. There are differing opinions in the Talmud as to whether or not one is allowed to take an oath or whether one should take an oath, even regarding something that he knows to be true. In other words, there's no question that one cannot take a false oath. That's a violation of the third commandment in the Torah. But can he take an oath on something that he knows to be true? Now, we have here different approaches, because we find in halacha that the Torah, in certain cases, imposes an oath upon a person. If the Torah doesn't do it, then the rabbinic decrees do it. So like a motive b'miktsas. Man comes and he says, you pay me the $100 you owe me. He said, I don't owe you $100, I only owe you $50. So the halacha is that he has to swear. It's called the Shvuas Hesas, the Shvua Midrabanan. And the Gemara explains that usually when a person admits partially, he really is admitting the entire amount, but he doesn't have the entire amount to pay now. So he says, yeah, I owe you 50 because I have 50 that I can give you now. But really he owes the 100. So because of the threat of forcing him to take an oath, so then he will admit the entire amount and the right thing will be done. But for instance, there's halacha of Eid Echad. If one witness comes, so it says in the Torah, Pishnai Meidim Yochum Dover. We need two witnesses to really buttress your claim. What if he has only one witness? So there also, the Torah obligates him to swear. The defendant obligates him to swear. And he has to swear that he doesn't owe the money. Otherwise, he has to pay. There are many other cases. The Gemara Bava Metzia has an entire list of cases where people swear. So usually the taking of an oath is defensive. The defendant takes the oath that he doesn't have to pay. But sometimes the Torah reverses it, and then the oath becomes aggressive. In order to collect, then you have to swear that this is what happened. So from the standpoint of halacha, swearing is part of the legal process. Carries no special moral weight to it, except that it is a method by which we can arrive at the truth of the matter. What happened here? Does he owe the money? Does he not owe the money? However, there's a different stream completely. And that stream is, so to speak, a moral overriding view of the matter. And that is that God's name, so to speak, is so holy and so fraught with power that it can only be used sparingly. And it should not be used, so to speak, for mundane purposes. So by taking an oath, in effect, you're making God a partner in your defense. You're saying God is testifying that I'm right, and that seems to be a stretch. So therefore, there is an opinion that all the poskim, after discussing the necessity to take a shvuah, and in what cases that we take a shvuah, by Pikodon, by Shomer, all of the cases, there's an overarching policy never to take a shvuah, even on a dvar emet, even if I'm 100% certain that I never borrowed the money or that I repaid the money. But one should not swear. One should not take an oath. One should not use God's name, so to speak, in one's personal matters. Therefore, for instance, in the United States, you need not take an oath, you can affirm. You can say, I affirm that what I'm saying is true. I'm not taking an oath, I'm not swearing, but I'm stating that this is my position. I'm not responsible. And the Gemara brings numerous cases where people took an oath in all good faith that they are right, and it turned out that they had overlooked something, or the situation changed. Famous Gemara, the Medrash also brings it, that a man gave to a woman 3 gold coins that she should keep for safekeeping for him. And when she came home, she decided where was she going to put the coins for safekeeping. So she put them in the bin of flour, of kemach that she had, because she figured that what Ganev was going to look there. Time passed. Somebody came in the house, her relative, Nozeret, and was baking challah, and took flour from the bin and made dough and baked it, and the 3 coins were now in the challah. And the man came back, said, give me back my 3 coins. And she said, I searched all over the house and I cannot find them. I'm Shomer Chinam, and Shomer Chinam is Potter on Geneva Vaveda. I lost them. I don't know where they are. I swear that I didn't take it. I swear that it's not in my possession. The challahs are there in their freezer. And the Gemara records for us all sorts of tragedies that occurred in that house. Because even though to her it was an oath that was justified and true, but we're all human, and we make mistakes and we forget. And because we forget, one should not take an oath on anything, because who knows, maybe. There's a famous story about the Rashash, Reb Shmuel Strashun, who was in Vilna. He was a banker. And was a great Talmud Chacham. He was the editor of the Vilna Shas. That's why his parish is in the back of every Gemara. And so the story goes that every day he taught a shiur in Gemara, and a lot of people came to hear the shiur. In the middle of the shiur, a man walked in, and he went up to him and he said, "Here is the 1,000 ruble that I owe you." And Reb Shmuel kept on with the shiur, and he put the 1,000 ruble in the pages of the Gemara. It came the end of the year, and the accountant was making the report, and they were missing 1,000 ruble. So the bank turned around and sued the guy. And the guy said, "But I paid 1,000 ruble. I paid him." And so the bank said, "Take a shvuah that you paid." And he was afraid of shvuahs, so he didn't take the shvuah, and he paid again, paid the 1,000 over again. However, now he got a reputation in town that he's a liar, he's a faker, he doesn't pay back his debts. You have to force him to take shvuahs in order to get your money back. So the story is, so then Shmuel Strashun was learning this Gemara again a year later, and he flipped the pages and he saw the 1,000 ruble. So how does he give the man back the reputation? He gives him back the 1,000 ruble. So he purposely made a shidduch with him, that his daughter would marry this man's son to show that the man was right and that there's nothing involved. Now that's a story, but nevertheless, I know many, many people that under any circumstance would not take a shvuah, no matter what it cost them. I know a case that happened in Belgium in which there was a big income tax fraud, and the defendant was an Orthodox Jew who claimed that everything was on the up and up, and that because of that, therefore, the judge didn't know what to do. So the judge came upon a novel solution. He said, "Let the Jew swear that he's not obligated, and I'll acquit him." There was a lot of money involved. So I happen to have known the Rav that the Jew asked the Shaila to what to do. And the end was that he didn't swear, and he paid again, and because he didn't want to take the shvuah, because the shvuah is to a certain extent lethal. And so that's our origin of not using God's name. Zeh Shmi Le'olam. So Le'olam is spelled Choser. Zeh Shmi La'aleim. Hide my name. Don't say it. So we say Aleph Daled Nun Yud. We don't say Yud Kei Vav Kei. But we don't even say Aleph Daled Nun Yud. And the Gemara tells us a chidush that by Boaz was the first one that used God's name in greeting people. He said to his workers, Hashem Imochem. And they answered him, Baruch Hashem. So that's the first time. So you need a heter to say that. And therefore today there are people that don't even write a hey as an abbreviation for the name of Hashem, but they write Beis Samach Dalid, which means B'siyata D'Shmaya, with the help of heaven, but without mentioning the name at all. So all of this comes forth from these dinim of Shua, which appear in this week's parsha. Rabbi Hananya ben Akash Omer Rotza Kori Baruch Hu L'Zakot Yisrael Kvir HaLiber Lohem Torah Mitzvot She'emar Adonai Chavei Tzman Shirko Yagdil Torah B'Yadim.